I'm just at a loss for words now. That's all. I don't know if it's confirmed or not. I'm just gonna say what it meant for me. And yeah, they're stressed because I was crying. I was watching yeah, I know we haven't seen it confirmed yet. Yeah, I was crying. So I'm not gonna we're just just give me a moment. Yeah. All right. So what did Kevin Samuels mean to me? I remember when I first came across his content, it wasn't the average at best video, but I do remember seeing that, and I knew he was gonna run into some shit. Um, I knew he was gonna run into some shit because anytime you get certain people, I appreciate that. Thank you. Anytime you get, I hope it's not real either. I hope it's not real, but I got a feeling it is. I just got a feeling it is. When you've been a homicide detective and you could kind of sift through the bullshit. And when I've been monitoring this story for quite some time, and I looked at a snippet of some notes that was taken from a 911 call taker in Atlanta. And when I read those snippets, you could read the shorthand language that confirms that he was found unresponsive. He was breathing at the time, but he was found unresponsive. And what he meant to me was I really don't I can relate to him. He was somebody I could relate to. Like I come across visceral. I come across real visceral when I speak to people. And it's like I don't do it trying to be mean. Some of you are just give me a minute, just come on, just come on, push. Some people don't understand that he gave it to the men just as hard as he gave it to the women. If all you saw were those snippets where he was saying some things negative to women. That's the only context you got. He gave it hard to the men, just like he gave it to the women. But he had a lot of inspirational messages if you really took a deep dive into his content. And he's been recording for years prior to him even going viral, just like me and my instructor Mike Page. And there was a lot of stuff that he could pull out. One of the things that I remember him talking about was, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it real. I used to love it when he would talk about women and how their delusion, and it doesn't apply to all women. It doesn't. I promise it does not. So I'm not saying that, but just bear with me when I'm saying what I'm saying. I am an advocate for children, abused children. And prior to me even getting the news that Kevin Samuel allegedly had passed, because we don't have anything, and that was another thing that led me to believe that it was kind of real, because they called the medical examiner and the medical examiner said they can neither confirm nor deny. And I was like, oh shit, well, damn, neither confirm nor deny. I've heard that before, you know? And so that's, yeah, yeah. But I remember this one show that I was watching of his where he was talking to this woman. And he was talking to this woman so hard to the point where he was like, look, forget about us men. What about the boys? What about the boys? You know? And yeah, he did repeat a statistic that still needs more confirming and stuff like that. But there are a lot of boys who are suffering from not getting the right training and teaching that we need to be qualified to be husbands and fathers. Make no mistake about it, the Black community is a matriarchy. It's a matriarchy because we can talk about a whole bunch of other different reasons why it's a matriarchy, but it's a matriarchy. We have more women in our lives than men. Now, let me give some context with this, because I'm not sitting here and saying that women provide no value. That is not what I'm saying at all. You know, a lot of my favorite teachers are women, you know? So to sit here and say they have no value, that's not true. But you know how they say it's not just what you're saying, it's what you're not saying too that also counts. And so when I look at what was not being said, I could look, it reminds me of my mom. And I had a lot of hatred from my mom because my mother abused the fuck out of me, for sure. Abused the fuck out of me. Uh, got my brother doped up on ADHD medicine when he had no ADHD. He had no diagnosis. He didn't have ADHD. She really wanted to check, you know? And I'm not gonna keep this long, but she really wanted to check. And my brother just wanted attention. He just wanted love. And I didn't know, when you're a child, you don't fucking know what your mom goes through. You just know the pain that she shows and then what she does to you or doesn't do to you, stuff like that. That's what you're reacting to, is the pain. You don't know what to make of it. You could see a red flag and just not even know what to make of it. Like, oh shit, this is not how it's supposed to be. But do you know that's how it's supposed to be? You don't even know. And so, you know, there were a lot of good memories that, well, I don't even want to say that. That's not true. There were memories that I've had of my mom that was good. There was a lot of them that were bad. There was a lot of great memories from my grandmother. There were it was a little few that were bad. But I know that I've had my mother, my grandmother, and I'm gonna get around to it. So if you stay for the story, fine. If not, and you find it boring, that's fine. Go enjoy your night. But I'm gonna say this and hope you come back and watch it, right? Let me know in the comments if you're still here, because I could talk to somebody on the phone and maybe share this. I want to add value and know you're still here. But anyway, um, I had no father figure in my life. I had other men that was there or who were there, but there was no real father figure. And so when you grow up thinking that, man, I just want to just break away. I just want to just break away. And I went out to the military, did the whole thing in law enforcement, got married at an early age, thinking that I was a man, thinking that I was ready. I didn't know a damn thing about being qualified for marriage. I didn't know a damn thing about being qualified to be a father. And some of the stuff that I've heard as I've begun to travel throughout this life, when I begun to make mistakes, when I begun to go through trauma, and then even have my own behavioral issues exhibited upon people, then to be told you got to go get therapy or you should go get therapy. And then going through my own issues, then coming to the knowledge of all the things that I have knowledge of now to advocate for abused children and to hear a voice like Kevin Samuels really give it to women. And it's not all women, I promise you. I'm going to say this and I'm going to say it the way it needs to be said because not all women fit this bill. But I saw Kevin Samuels as the voice who had the guts and the balls to say the shit that so many men and hurt children as little boys. And that's what some people don't understand. There are a lot of us men who are still hurt boys on the inside. And it's like, finally, somebody who is getting their attention, finally getting their attention. Like, you literally cannot make an omelet without breaking some eggs. If that shit is true, he made a lot of motherfucking omelets because he broke a lot of fucking eggs. And it's like, then to then then to hear things like authority of a man, advantage of a woman, accountability of a child. I'm like, that shit just makes out. And don't get me wrong, we men are not exempt from that stuff either. And what people don't understand is Kevin gave it to both sides. But if the black community is a matriarchy, then is it fair to say that the traumas that I received as a young boy, I got it from my mom? How many other men are saying the same things, but yet when we say it, we're canceled? You look at it. Will Smith, D.L. Hughley, Shaquille O'Neal, Kanye West. Those are four names that come to mind. And we know them to be, a successful basketball player, Hall of Famer, comedian, you know, A-list actor, multi-millionaire. And who's the other guy I listed? Oh, Kanye West, music producer, right? All four of them just wonderful in their careers. But when you get down to their personal lives, who? Shaq, trauma. Kanye West, trauma. And guess who was talking about those things? Kevin Samuels was able to break it down where it made sense. So, you just don't know the day nor the hour when it could happen to you. You don't know. And I am just, if in fact it is true that he has passed, I am on. Now, I didn't agree with everything he said. I did not agree with everything he said. I just want you to know that. Some of the stuff that I didn't agree with, like one was like the whole marry before you carry. Let me give you context, right? Marry before you carry. I do agree that you should be married before you have children. I do agree with that. But the marry before you carry in the context of wait till you get married before you carry, as if marriage is the fixer or the elixir for trauma. No, I don't agree with that at all. I am, and it's like, I wish he would have provided more context so people could understand. But I loved it when he would sit there and ask these ladies, who, by the way, volunteered to call into their show, to his show, right? You volunteered. But when he would ask them these questions, and then you would hear him say, you're not qualified to be a wife. Do you know how I wished I would have had a man in my life when I was 20? I wish I would have had a man. One of the most irresponsible things I have ever done in my life was get married and create children. And it's not to say anything about their mom, it's not to take away from the value that my children's lives have, but I wasn't qualified at all to be anybody's fucking husband or anybody's father. Being a fun guy who has a sense of humor and can go out and work. Sometimes people don't understand. You get this protect, provide. Can I protect? Fuck yes. Can I provide? Fuck yes. But sometimes people don't know and people don't understand that the very same thing that makes you passionate behind what you do, people don't understand the pain that motivates that shit. You do understand workaholic is like another vice too, right? It's not just drugs, alcohol, sex. Employment is another vice too. Like, I really love what I'm doing and it just takes my mind off of home. Like, you understand that's a thing. And I just wished I had somebody like Kevin there to sit there and say, you could bounce certain shit off of and sit there and, hey, I met this person. Her name is, I'm not going to say that her name is it's not the point. You get what I'm saying. You know, it's like, hey, I met this girl. We only knew each other for like 2 months. I just want somebody to sit there. What the fuck are you about to do, boy? No. What the fuck? you know, and then you'll sit there and just go down what I created a workbook called the trouble analysis, you know, and to sit there and just go through, is it transactional, and the questions that I put in that, beneficial, you know, reciprocal, logical, emotional, before you sign that contract, so that you have a full awareness of what you are about to get into. And that's the one thing that I could say that I appreciated about Kevin Samuels and the visceralness of his delivery. That for those who understood where he was coming from, the harsh realities and the truths. Yeah, man. Ooh, Charlie boy. Shit. Me too. Married young, had children young, caused me so much trouble. And then it's like, just like I was talking about before, where people will sit there and be like, well, you still have a responsibility. You do understand that embedded within that word responsibility is able to respond, right? Well, you should be held accountable. You do understand that embedded within that word is the ability to count. You cannot be held accountable for a skill that you don't have. You can't be held responsible for your inability to respond. You see what I'm saying? And it's just like, that's why I'm gonna put myself on a pedestal just for a little bit. I hate the trauma that I've gone through, but I love what God has done with that trauma in using me to speak things in such a visceral way where because I get negative shit my way too. Not to Kevin Samuels level, but I get I get a whole bunch of negative stuff my way. And to sit there and say unreasonable expectations fuels unreasonable emotions. Unreasonable emotions fuels irrational behavior. You know, is it reasonable for you to expect that you are going to get this outcome when you haven't analyzed this thing? You haven't seen if this person was able to do this. You expected him to be faithful, but he didn't. You didn't pull his faithful credit report to see if he had even been faithful to anyone else or even himself. And then you expect him to be faithful. Is that unreasonable? Yeah, it's unreasonable. So then when you raise your expectations unreasonably high, you don't get what you want. Now you want to fuck them up. You know, and just some people just cannot take the truth. Charlie, you are correct, man. Development on the go sounds good. However, it doesn't replace training. Some people do not understand that shit. Some people do not understand that. And that's like Kevin Samuels is not supposed to be for everyone. Mike Brown is not supposed to be for everyone. Charlie Boy, you are not supposed to be for everyone. AOKO, Calvin Carbine, William Nunez, Bobby V, African Jetta, MR, you're not supposed to be for everyone. Lori, Mike, you're not supposed to be for everyone. Some of you all don't know I'm a children's book author. Well, not just a children's book author, I'm an author. I write mostly children's books and a bunch of other stuff. And then the content that I create, right? Our content is not for everyone. And so those who don't have eyes for what you're showing them or ears for what you're saying to them, they don't understand. They will never get it. They will never get it. You could literally show them a red flag. I said I was going to do this too. You could literally show them a red flag and they wouldn't know what to make of it. They literally would not know what to make of that red flag. If you don't have eyes for what's being shown to you, I said I was going to talk about this. I said this on my Facebook page. We're going to turn that into that discussion I said I was going to have. Right? Here you go right here. You got a red flag. Does the person even understand that this is a flag? What shape it's in? You know, how many of us have sat there and said, oh, I saw the red flags, but I just ignored them? Of course you ignored them. Of course you ignored the red flags. And that's one of the things I loved about Kevin Samuels is that he would sit there and he would say, see, guys, this is what you need to look out for. You need to look at this, and this. And he would give you like a manual. If you were taking mental notes or physical notes and then saving the videos. I remember a time where he would sit there and say, don't repost my content. Now everybody repost that shit. And I guarantee you, if they confirm his passing, everybody is going to repost that. If you have not found value in him, that's fine. It's not for you right now. But as you begin to progress and as you begin to grow, if you have an open mind leads to open eyes and open ears later on. And when you sit here and look at this red flag, how many of us have said, oh man, I saw that. I know I did. I definitely know I did. I would sit here and say, oh, I saw the signs. I saw the red flag. Shit, I saw the red flag. I heard this thing. I saw this. I seen this, but shit, I just ignored it. You know why you ignored it? Because the context was not there in your mind and no one was there to guide you and help you understand what that red flag even meant. Something was off about it, but you just didn't know what to make of it. So whatever, you kept on pushing. People are complaining about Roe versus Wade. What about the real reasons why people even have children? What about that? What about these parents who really think they know it all? And that's the one thing I loved about what Kevin Samuels did is that there was one show where he was talking about how some of your mothers were probably in competition with you. Ladies, if you're watching, your mother probably was in competition with you, and you were never raised to challenge your parents. Oh my God. If I did not get anything from Kevin Samuels, I loved it. This coming up Sunday is Mother's Day. And for all you mothers who are watching now or may watch later, happy Mother's Day if you've earned that title. Because not every Charlie, I am glad you are here, my brother. You have as a passenger on the road. You don't know what those signs mean until you are trained to drive. Giving you that salute. You have earned that, my friend. How many kids see signs on the road? They know the colors, they may know the shapes, but they don't know what it means. Charlie, thank you for that. Thank you for that. I used to ride the Chicago Transit Authority train all the time. I don't know what the fucking signs mean. Am I trained to be a rail transit operator? And as you begin to drive in life, that's why parenting is so important. And I loved it when Kevin would sit here and say, until you start to look at your parents and hold them accountable, you will not find the issues within you where you need to heal. Yes, Bobby V. Oh, I definitely found value in his content when I hit 40. It started to make sense to me as I got older. I'm 40 now. And the biggest thing that I found value in Kevin is the delusion of a percentage of women who did not understand that they were probably the least qualified to be a parent. You're not qualified. Yes, look. Well, I don't care what feminists are doing. I don't care. You see what I'm saying? And that's another thing too. I would look in the comment section at some of the bashing posts about Kevin, and I wouldn't respond to all of them, but I would sit there and respond to some of them, and I would sit there and say, well, what you value about him is not what we value about him. So no matter what you say about him, that's not what we value. So what you in one ear, out the other, because we don't value that about him. We know why we find value in him. And not every man agrees with everything he says. I don't agree with in 6 months marrying someone. It's the dumbest shit ever. Marriage is like a business. Love and sex makes you like where you work, right? But one thing I love that he said was marriage was about duty. He made me look at the marital vows and said, where do you see happiness in those? Now, in rewritten marital vows, you may find happiness, but you won't find happiness anywhere in marital vows. To have and to hold in sickness and health, richer for poor, good times and bad, whatever the case may be. And I remember one episode where he was talking to this lady who she was young at the time, and this man was older. He was working. She didn't have to work. And then when he fell sick to cancer, and that triggered Kevin because Kevin was a cancer survivor. That triggered him. And then when he fell sick to cancer, she was there. But then when he got a little better, she left him. I'm like, what the fuck? And the thing is, when you hear those stories, if you don't find value in that shit and that doesn't open your eyes, I don't know what to say. And I remember, yes, he was extremely necessary. If you guys are watching this, do me a favor. If you value this, I humbly ask you, as I see the numbers are going up, like the video and share. Just like the video and share. You can share it on Facebook. Just hit the share button, copy link, go to your Facebook post, post it up, share this, and let's join in the conversation. I I will never bash the man's name. Some people saw him as tearing down females. Guess who else gets accused of that? Me. Shit's funny as hell. And it's like, if you only knew. If I'm lying, I'm dying. I got a call from a lady today. I can't show you her number. I got a call from a lady today. I was selling my books at Navy Pier. And for those of you who all don't know, I do write children's books. I just go to real quick. I write children's books. I don't know if you can see it here. Yeah, it's right here. And so with the children's books that I do write, I was at Navy Pier and I was selling the books, right? I do have, audio books, stuff like that. And there's a lot of books here that are based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs and stuff like that. And so my books try to teach people from a Maslowian perspective because we don't hear about a lot of those things as we're growing up. I wish someone had created my books when I was younger so I could have those things to read. You know, especially the whole thing about unconditionally conditional, how they love me, how they love each other, how they love others. You know, finding out that you were the result of a one night stand, finding out that the way your father and your mother may love each other is different from the way they love you. You see what I'm saying? All those things that would have rehabilitated the hell out of, yeah, I rehabilitated the hell out of me when I was going through my trauma. I believe in you, just not that. Stay on track. A lot of us adults could use that. Even they said they never got them in Spanish. I'm not plugging my books, but I kind of am because, even the trouble analysis, just having that book before I even got married, talk about stuck and fuck, right? The aftermath of after ass, how to unfuck your parental past. This, if I were to put Kevin Samuels in one of my books, this is one of my books. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go on ahead and I would read that book on here because matter of fact, I'm gonna read that book. This is my platform. I'm gonna read that book. And I'm gonna show you just how visceral this by guy book even is. Because if I was to put Kevin Samuels in one of my books, it would be this book right here. Here it is. Am I still sharing in this? No, it's not in this one. Switch over to this tab. No, it says stop sharing. Let me switch over to one of these other tabs. Yeah, he said some hard things, man. He definitely said some hard things. I appreciate you all being here. And please put your comments in the and no, this ain't monetized, so you can't send any super chats or anything like that because my page isn't monetized like that. So here we go. Stuck and fuck, the aftermath of after ass. How to unfuck your parental past. Let's scroll down real quick. Good. Here we go. I did not make them by myself. Wait, come here. Look at this. Pick this shit up right now. Stop hitting your brother, Chris. Let me put it this way. No, I had it another way where it'd have been easier to fucking flip it. I don't know. Shit, whatever. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, I'm back. Excuse me. Please. It's like I'm in a rut. What did I do? I love them true. Feels like I'm stuck in fuck. 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 Right? Men, you may find value in this. You may find value in this book. I'm trying to push it up. Yeah, there we go. So where you can see it. Okay. Why am I crying? Look and see. Not just those two. That's right. Three. Doing what I have to do. Responsibility. Who? Their dads? Not around. It's like they think they're free. I can't read this book like this because this shit's bothering me. I hate these little things popping up and shit. I don't even know how to fix it. I think I know how to do it. Let me just download it and just open it up that way. Sorry, guys. There it is. Maybe it'll come up better that way. Oh, that's better. Okay, good. So that way it's not all in the way because it is in the way. All right. I did not make them by myself. Wait, come here. Look at this. Pick this shit up right now. Stop hitting your brother, Chris. Oh, I'm back. Excuse me, please. It's like I'm in a rut. What did I do? I love them true. Feels like I'm stuck in fuck. 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 And some women really feel like this when they have children. They're finally asleep. Why am I crying? Look and see. Not just those two. That's right. Three. Doing what I have to do. Responsibility. Who? Their dads? Not around. It's like they think they're free. Yep, I do it by myself. These three. And then there's me. What? How? Wait, what the fuck? Who are? How dare you? The nerve to ask me how I do what their dads won't do. I cook, clean, clothe them too. Watch this one fight her sleep, throwing shit on the floor faster than I sweep. Okay, breathe. I'm calming down. I know you meant no harm. Just this stuff, it gets to me. Third time's the charm. Well, my three, I love them so. Girl, they should grow. But Chris asked me, where's his dad? When he gets so bold? I had to think of what to say, trying not to curse. Then I had to think of what I should tell myself first. As a little girl, I went through a lot. Child abuse talked about, even left to rot. I grew up and ran away. Finally, I was free. Then I met his dad, was as happy as can be. I thought, anything you want, he said, I'll protect you. With my past and the abuse, what's a girl to do? Cooked for him, clean too, the things he didn't do. When we met, he told me that. I told him, I got you. My bills paid, didn't ask how. Oh, the security. Finally happy. Then I thought, what if he leaves me? Perfect? No, he been through what I've been through too. Gave him sex when he said, girl, I love you. 9 months later, out came Chris, thought he'd give us joy. Sleepless nights, early days, bottles and diapers. Oh boy. So much for what I thought finally made me free. As Chris grew, oh, it's true, more responsibility. I didn't make him by myself, stood up and told his dad, you're gonna help me out or you will wish that you had. Wait, what? He said, how could you? I try to help you out. Can't cook, don't clean, useless just about. Yes, I said this. As time passed, Chris's dad started to fade away. Fuck him, I told Chris. We're gonna be okay. Chris wouldn't remember now, he was just 2 years old. But now that he's older, the story's to be told. See, I didn't know until I birthed two more. I was chasing something from my childhood pain before. I found this book titled What I Tell Myself First. It showed me above all, I must love myself first. No good to anyone else if I'm not selfish first. I have been so selfless, made sure others' needs came first. In the back further reads Maslow's hierarchy of needs. What I thought I really knew, I knew not indeed. Now remembering the abuse from my childhood past, that was what placed me on this dangerous path. Post abuse, I met his dad. My life was filled with voids. Oh, the pain it motivates, puts fire behind the choice. Chris's dad protected me, sheltered me too. But what did I do for myself? Was I insecure too? When Chris came into this world, I really needed his dad. Felt he'd be there for us, like with me in the past. I was blinded, oh so blinded, couldn't even see. How could I gauge his dad's responsibility? Could he shop? How about wash, even fold or sew? I never learned to ask. How would I ever know? So here I am expecting him to be the best for us. Did I even stop to think, was I even enough? Oh my God, I snapped on him. No wonder he faded away. If he talked like that to me, would I even stay? Girl, I gotta go. Why? I gotta find his dad. I gotta unfuck this fuck with all the trouble that we've had. Before I go, want you to know I'm thanking you, you see. All the while stuck in fuck, too, because of me. That's the book. That's the book. That's the book. That's the book. So yeah, I know I lost a lot of viewers on that. I don't give a shit. This is my platform. Um Now Poppy Weasel said, "Who told you he passed though? If TMZ didn't confirm it, I ain't buying it. What happens if he had an accident? If he did go, it must be karma. It must mean the ancestors have spoken and they aren't through." What does that even mean, Felicia? What does that mean? It must mean the ancestors have spoken and they aren't through. What does that mean? And if it's the Felicia, I think it is, or you are. I'm not shocked by you saying that, but I'm trying to figure out the context of what you mean because I don't want to assume things. Yeah, I don't want to assume things. If he did go, it must be karma. I don't know what that is. I mean, I know what you mean, but I'm not paying attention to that. Like I said before, what you value and what we value out of him, you know what I'm saying? You don't get moved by negative comments like that because that's what comes with the territory. Not everybody is for everybody. It's just like saying a bad rating is going to really affect you. Maybe not. You know, if your shit's really trash and it's trash, but it's going to be trash to other people, it's going to be treasure to other people. So it is what it is. And I'm still waiting to see more comments. Yeah. Lisa MC, you said very negative. What does that mean? What does that mean when you say very negative? He was very negative. Well, of course. A lot of people would think I'm very negative. What does that even mean? When you begin to ask, like, and I, I would sit there and watch uh, his critics and detractors show, and then see people come up there and say things about him, and sometimes they would have legitimate concerns. Most of the time, they took his stuff out of context, though, and that's what happens when you don't have eyes for and ears for what a person is trying to tell you. That's fine. Not everybody's going to see everything you want to show them or have to tell them at that moment. You see what I'm saying? I call it the 50 cent rule. 50 Cent had a saying in his book, Hustle Smarter, Hustle Harder. Oh, okay, Lisa. Yeah. Some of the people have negative things to say. And 50 Cent had a rule in his had a saying in his book, which I loved. I love reading and I love audiobooks too, because I'm very busy. So sometimes when I don't have the time to sit there and read, I love a great audiobook. And I remember when 50 Cent said, "If I can't be your friend, can I be your enemy?" And he was saying this to Gail because Oprah had a problem with him. And he was like, "Look, I don't have a problem. If I'm your friend, maybe you'll talk about me, maybe you won't. But if I'm your enemy, oh my God, you're probably going to talk me up in rooms I'm not even in. See, I can turn an enemy into a friend, but not if I'm not in the room. You see what I'm saying? And so an enemy, like, oh my God, you're going to speak my name. And I've had this literally happen to me. Like I've got haters, right? I mean, who doesn't, right? But they will speak me up in names. And then when I say this rule, like to people in class, people will be like, "Yeah, Mike, because that's why I'm here. Somebody dogged your ass, boy. But you see who I came to." I'm like, exactly, exactly. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, keep speaking my name up. Shit, you're not doing nothing but just make because the more you keep speaking that person's name up, you're gonna make that person figure out like, I am in front of your face. You could talk to me about what you have that could provide value for me. But instead, you're talking this person up. Maybe you're the wrong person I should be seeing. I'm going to go see that guy. So, yeah, that's what I call it. Reb said, I hope it's not true. If it is, I hope at least he went next to his friends and family at peace. Yeah. It's not always about right or wrong debates, but it's just imperative to have the conversation. Yes, Charlie boy. I'm glad you're still here. What you think about that book that I read? It probably was long. I get it, right? But if I was to put Kevin Samuels in one of my books, that would be it. People, you do understand that with if Kevin is gone, you do understand that with Kevin's passing, what he's done is not gonna stop, right? You do understand, like, remember when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, and then when they tried to, after two waves of attacks, how they tried to I think one of the commanders or one of the other lieutenants or captains or whatever, not captain, that's not the term in naval terminology, but one of the lieutenants was like, "Are you ready for the third wave?" And then I believe it was the commander, no, Commander Nagai, I think that was his last name, was trying to do a third wave. And I think Admiral Yamamoto was like, "No, I fear that all we did was wake a sleeping giant and fill him with a terrible resolve." You do understand that within the short period of time that Kevin Samuels has impacted more than just black men. He has impacted men, right? Allegedly, that's what I said, right? He has impacted men of all races. He has impacted women, be it good or bad, whatever. It's the impact. See, sometimes people don't understand if you're not in the behavioral sciences field and if you're not in the educational field, sometimes you don't understand that once you ring a bell, you can't unring it. Like once he has had an impact on you, situations will happen that will cause your memory of that thing to trigger the recollection of the exposure that you've had to him, and then it will begin to make sense. See, sometimes people don't understand that education is not like when a teacher teaches you something, it's not for now. You're not in combat like right now, right now. I just had a beautiful concealed carry class that I had, a small one today. Oh my God, it was so great. And um in that concealed carry class, it's like they're not in war right now, right? But I'm teaching you for the future. And I tell them this all the time. I'm not going to be around when you may have to pull out this firearm. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not teaching you for now. I'm teaching you for the future. Now, if you do what you're supposed to do, you may carry that firearm. You may never have to use it, right? You may never have to use it. But if you do have to use it and you had no other choice, dude, Hopefully you're able to survive that. And here's this. In every class I open up and I say, how many of you are ready to kill? How many of you are ready to die? Right? Because if you're not ready to do those two things, then you're not ready to go all out and enjoy what may be your last act. You may think you have pop, took out, or at least stopped 3 people from harming you. And you don't know that in the melee, one of them was able to get off a shot and you got hit. You see what I'm saying? And so you don't know that. Like, you don't know that you're going to survive this encounter. And so live every day as though it's your last. Don't stop making an impact on people. Back to the call on this lady. So this lady called me. I had just left the range and I was tired, dog shit tired. I always am when I leave the range. I pour out so much. I'm going to post the videos up on my Instructor Mike YouTube page because I had a guy recording and it was great. I'm able to do more with small classes than I am with larger ones. And so I sat there and this lady called me and she was calling me and she was talking about, she loved the books and she was telling me I'm often a listening ear to people too. And she was telling me about a problem with her child, not her child, but she's the great aunt. And then she was having a problem with one of the other children. And she was telling me the background. And I knew it was coming from the parents. Like the parents were just totally, they're fighting. Mom and dad is fighting. And then other family members who want to do, sometimes they don't want to step into the parents' shoes or step on their toes because then that could cause problems, right? And so she's like, Mike, what do I do? What do I do? So I was able to suggest to her, some therapist, for the child, because when the child was acting up and behaving in class, that child doesn't want to be bad. The child is exhibiting the behavior based upon the emotions of how they feel because something triggered this emotion. And usually when there's a continuous outlash of negative behavior, sometimes you got parents who don't understand this. Like sometimes parents could be the most unqualified people, unqualified to assess behavior and walk it back. This is why when you get some parents who will sit there and say, look, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you're going to receive insert negative consequence there, right? And then they don't understand that the child doesn't really give a damn about the negative consequence. If you don't stop this, you're going to end up getting locked up by the police and going to jail. What if they feel that your home is already jail? If you don't stop this, I'm going to beat your ass. What if they don't care about the ass whooping? You got to have something to follow it up, right? So instead of doing that, walk it back. Ask them how they feel. And then ask them, what has you feeling this way? And then they can begin to explain things. Then you could become a problem solver and then teach them how to solve their own problems and manage their expectations, regulate their emotions. You see what I'm saying? And so gave her that. And she was like, oh my God, I found so much value in your books. And I told her about this next book that I got coming out. Should be coming out within a month. It's called Steve the Bee and Little Frankie Talk Behavior and Feelings. And that's going to be the perfect book for her to understand and even have a little exercise that she can practice with her 5-year-old. It's going to help her have tools and actionable items that will where she can give to her, I don't know, was it great niece or I don't know. I forgot what the title was, but you get what I'm saying, right? And if that's one of the things that I definitely learned from Kevin Samuels is to help people with outcomes. Because that was one of the main things that he was talking about was outcomes. I just want to help you get to your outcomes. Do you think you can get this? Like Kevin Samuels made average guys great again. Don't get me wrong. He was definitely talking about high value. But when he told, this is how I say he made average guys great again. Yes, I'm using that terminology, right? Because so many women want this high caliber of man. And when he would say, well, up here, we do shit differently. Like what you think you're going to get up here, you may not be qualified to get up here. Like it's more than just sex. It's more than just And we don't care, we'll do what we want to do. And typically people with money and access do what they want to do. And what you want and what we want are kind of not the same things. And I remember him saying this one time, and I'm watching the clock because at the hour mark, I'm gonna cut it and relax. But I remember this one time where he said, as a male or man, whichever however you want to term it, you don't mature until you're at least 35. Like your brain doesn't mature until 25. And then you have a lot of growing to do, a lot of growing and resource pooling and getting yourself together so that you can be qualified to be a husband and be a father, so that you have a person of means and resources to be able to provide. Like, heavy is the head that wears the crown. And it's like, just because you can have children and can get married and are legally, statutorily qualified to get married doesn't mean you should. In order for you to get married with parents' permission, like 16, other than that, at the age of 18, you can get married, right? And it depends on what state you're in. And then as long as your little penis has sperm in it and her uterus has the ability to produce eggs and she gets on her period, then you are able to biologically, whether we get to the legally or not, that's another issue, but you're able to biologically create life. Just because you're able to biologically create life doesn't mean you should. Just because you're legally qualified to get married statutorily doesn't mean you have the tools to do that thing. And that's the one thing that I loved about Kevin, is he gave more context to the lessons that I wish I had someone to teach me those things and spare me with the, you should have gotten therapy. Fuck that. I think that is the most horrible thing that you should say to a person, when if we held our parents accountable and then went and got therapy, then you could unlearn some shit and grow ahead of your child. So as your child grows, now you have value to reach back down and give your children shit, the things that they need. I think it's just crazy to think that you and your kids should grow together. Are you fucking serious? That makes absolutely no sense. Like, your child is here, you should grow ahead of your child if you are not already ready. So that way you're already ahead of the game. You got things to invest in them. They find value. Like, do your kids even sit here and say, I value my parents because I know they got things to teach me? That's value. You don't have to whoop their ass if if they're willing to attend your class. Hey, Miss Melody, how are you? You don't have to whoop their ass if they're ready to attend your class. You see what I'm saying? And it's like, when I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. If you don't have eyes for Kevin Samuels or ears for Kevin Samuels, that's fine. You don't have to have that. I respect your opinion. If he hurts you, I respect that too. I respect that. I may not agree, but I respect that. But if he has passed, I thank God for him being here and saying the tough stuff, because I found value in that. For those of you all, Miss Melody, especially, because some of you all in the comments, I don't know you all and what you do. I know kind of like passively if you might have said that in the comments. So just forgive me if I've forgotten it. But I know Miss Melody is an early childhood educator. Don't stop, please. Don't stop. Like, okay, we may get tired and maybe want to retire. I get it. But don't stop, because the value that you have with your skill and your message. sometimes John C. Maxwell said this, that it's always about the audience. It's always about the audience. I love listening to John C. Maxwell, a leadership guru. And it's always about the audience, and the audience determines the worth. But if we were to take it back to certain aspects of the Bible, and I'm not a huge Bible fan because it's a book made by man, allegedly in the essence of God. It has things in the Bible that support everything. It's a whole other conversation. But I do remember this one thing: in all thy getting, get an understanding. And sometimes people, when it comes down to understanding, sometimes people think that they are supposed to like what's to be understood. They're supposed to agree or disagree with what's to be understood. Understanding has nothing to do with agreement, disagreement, like, dislike. It's, do you understand that which was shown to you? And when you're a teacher of things, the goal is to get you to understand that 2 plus 2 is 4. Not ask you how you feel about it. Just, do you understand it? And if I walked away, could you do the math, understanding the integers and then the plus sign within the operations of math and what that plus sign means? If you like it, cool. If you don't, I don't care. Just make sure that if you have $2 and you have 2 more dollars and this thing costs $4, you give them those $4 and then you receive that thing. It's the transactional value. You see what I'm saying? And so sometimes people don't have, they connect their feelings to the lesson. And when you convolute how you feel about the lesson with the lesson itself, you can become blind to that which could have great value if you learn to put feelings in its place. And that's the one thing, like when you listen to Kevin, if you really found value in what he said, it made you check your feelings. And I didn't agree with everything that he said. Like I said before, the whole marry before you carry, that needed more context. That needed a lot of context. And it's like you had to wait and listen to him teach and then go back and listen to some of his other stuff where, like, as a 20-year-old man, I had absolutely no business signing a marital contract and getting into the business of marriage. And there are things that there's another workbook that I'm getting ready to put out where I hope you get it, because if you're able to do your family, it's going to be called the Family Credit Report. It's going to be called the Family Credit Report. What do I mean, the Family Credit Report? Do I have it here? Nope, it's in the car. If you have a graph, and it's going to be, among other things, going to be graphs in there. How many husbands do you have in your family? Go from your grandfather, great-great-grandfather, great-grandfather, your uncles, brothers, cousins. How many husbands do you have in the family? How many fathers do you have in the family? How many wives do you have in the family? How many mothers do you have in the family? What are their outcomes? Before you decide to get married, what are their outcomes? If all the men make hey, what's going on, Susan? How you doing? If all the men in the family have made the women they have had children with baby mamas and not wives, run, because you're going to be a baby mama. You're not going to be a wife. I hate to say that, but that's the truth. And even if they make you a wife, how long would it last? What kind of outcomes would you get out of that relationship? Because if the family who came before that person has not had a history of positive relationships that produce, it says it in the good book, you should know the person by the fruit they bear. We're not just talking about children, but we're talking about positive relationships and things that you can sit there and literally see that this is growth, man. How have they handled the marital situation? I used to say this: I'm not marrying you. I'm not marrying you, your family. I'm marrying you. Yeah, if your family is in the business of family, yes, you are marrying them. Because trust me, when things go wrong, she is gonna have them to go to. You may have no one. If things go wrong, you may have someone to go to. She may have no one. You're only as good as the resources you have when things go bad. And that's the thing. Kevin always talked about what happens if it fails. What happens if you think, sure, if you think you can get this, that's fine. I'm here to tell you you can't. But people don't want to be told no. They don't want to be told that you're looking for something high value when you what do you bring to the what do you bring? What do you actually have? Have you ever been trained to be a wife? And just to hear that is what trained to be a wife? Boy, this ain't the I ain't gotta do Have you ever been trained to be a husband? What you mean trained to be a husband? Boy, I gotta do is slang that dick and go. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna keep it real, right? I'm just saying, when I look at my history, I am not qualified to be a husband. I am not qualified to be anyone's father, right? My family, I have my mother, I have my grandmother, I have my great grandmother, and I have my great great grandmother, right? And then I have my aunts. Those are the only women in my life that I've had. No men. Now, I knew my father by birth certificate, but he wasn't there. So, and my uncle was there, but my uncle and I, we were the same age. Don't ask me how the fuck that worked. My mom and my grandmother's vagina must have synchronized when they both had sex at the same time. I am 6 months older than my uncle. So, what can my uncle teach me? We were literally brothers. We were uncle brothers, uncle nephew brothers. So, what positive male role models to teach me how to be a husband did I have in my life? I wish I had a Kevin Samuels in my life at that time. Even as somebody I could go. Now, don't get me wrong. I had male teachers and, assistant principal, Dr. Miller. I will always remember him. You see what I'm saying? I remember him, but they didn't always go deep, 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 deep like that. They would give you little tidbits of life lessons here and there. I was in ROTC when I was in high school, so I remember First Sergeant Pettigrew, Sergeant First Class Johnson, Sergeant First Class Weber. I remember those things. And sometimes we think that the pinnacle of success is, oh my God, you graduated, you've made it. Yes, I'm a grown man now. I haven't gotten into gang violence. I haven't done drugs, didn't have any kids. I must be on my way. Oh my God. Is that so further from the truth? Then I went off into the military, doing good in the military. Oh my God. But guess what? Anybody who's ever served in the military, sometimes they don't understand why marriages happen so fast. Ooh, the military is wrought with fast marriages and bad decisions because the military knows exactly how and where to recruit. I remember Kevin Samuel saying this because there was this one young lady who was in the National Guard, and Kevin Samuel said, oh, that's easy. You went to the military for security and sustenance. I'm hearing it right now in your voice. Your parents didn't provide you this. The military provided you a way to get out of the hood and go someplace and do certain things. I bet you the recruiter said that, didn't they? Yeah, I know they did. I know they did. I know they did. You went to the military for security and sustenance, not for country. The way that black folks go to the military is not the same reason white folks go to the military. White folks go to the military in part because of duty, honor, and country. Then you got those who come from the lower class. They go for security and sustenance. But black folks almost exclusively, small part duty, honor, and country, big part Maslow, security and sustenance. But then when you find out you really got to do that shit, then when you find out your salute really has to be, even these, I ain't been in the military in a minute, salute still got to be locked, right? 45-degree angle, thumbs along the seam of your trousers when you got to be freaking disciplined. And if your family didn't put that in you, you couldn't do the military. Oh shit, now you're getting in trouble, be having behavioral issues. And then everybody will tell you when you're grown, Well, you grown. You got a responsibility. We got to hold you accountable. What the fuck is responsibility and accountability if no one has ever taught you to count and then have the ability to respond that which calls for you to be responsible? So I loved it when Kevin Samuels would stick it to the delusional women. Not all women were delusional because he had some wonderful conversations with some people. But most of the people who would call in, extremely delusional. And the thing is, they're parents too. That's the sad part. And guess who's feeling the brunt of the pain? All those children. All those children. So you can't tell me Kevin didn't have value. You could, and I respect your opinion, but you can't tell me that. Kevin's message was like when my grandmother would give us black draught and castor oil at the start of every winter. Nasty stuff, but good for you. It doesn't have to taste good to be good for you. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, y'all. I said I was going to end at 1 o'clock. I mean, not 1 o'clock, but an hour. It's an hour and 11 minutes. It hasn't been confirmed, but deep down inside, I believe it's true. 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 I hope it's not, but I believe it's true. Neither here nor there. Go watch some of his stuff. Celebrate his life. How do you celebrate his life? If in fact he has passed, you pay it forward. Pay it forward. Come on, guys, ladies, let's do the work to heal. Let's do the work to heal. Let's do the work to heal. See, some people want that omelet and don't have to watch the eggs being broken. But a real chef knows you can't make a wonderful dish without fucking some shit up. You can't make a wonderful dish without mixing some shit up. Everybody wants to eat the beef, but don't want to kill the cow. Oh, how do you do that, baby? Everybody wants the nice dinners, but don't want to have shit to do with the nasty stuff that has everything to do with what makes that course meal that you're about to eat even possible. Everybody wants to live in a secure country, but don't want to do that dirty work that it takes to keep us free. Ooh, be lucky you're not in Ukraine. Be lucky. Ooh, could you even think about lasting? I've been to third world countries before. Could you even think about lasting in a Ukraine? Shit. No, don't lie to yourself. Oh my God, don't you be lucky you live in America. Oh, oh, that song from Lee Greenwood just rings so true. Proud to be an American, baby. Be lucky you live in America. Now, don't get me wrong, we got our problems. We definitely got our problems. But baby, you could not take it in a third world country. And that's what Kevin Samuels will be talking about. This is some first world problem shit right here. Whew. Yeah. And I've dealt with and seen a lot of death. Not much of it has ever made me cry. Yeah. I hope you all have a wonderful night. I hope you all found value in this conversation. I hope you all did. Thank you, Miss Melody, for tuning in. I appreciate you. Those of you all, if you get a chance to go subscribe to Miss Melody's page, if you're into early childhood, and you need to be. I am so big on what's called family and consumer sciences now. It used to be called home economics, family and consumer sciences. I think that we got churches. I'm gonna say something controversial, and you know me, I don't care, right? We got churches on every block in the hood, every block in the Black community. Why aren't they teaching home economics in the church? Mm. How many daycare providers do we have that are members of the church? How many textile and manufacturing partners do we have as members of the church? All those Sunday dinners, all those cooks with the full kitchen in the church, and we have no cooking classes for our young boys and girls, right? I'm just I'm only calling a spade a spade. I'm only calling a spade a spade. You are correct. A lot of them attend church. A lot of them attend church. You know, how many uh you've got uh the finance guy that counts up the tithes and offerings, right? That makes sure the pastor gets his salary. Why doesn't that person teach about budget and economy and money management? How many people who own gyms and do fitness classes and workout classes, why aren't they teaching about health and hygiene? How many teachers do we have teaching classes? Why are they not teaching those things? Come on, we got home economics in our churches, but the church is steadily taking in money and not giving anything but a good word. Nah, nah, you need to give more. You need to give more. And if the community would stand up and say, I'm sorry, we can't give you no more tithes until you start putting in these things because we need that. We need that. All right. Appreciate it. If you're watching Instructor Mike, could you subscribe to the page, hit the bell notifications? If you're watching my other page, Family Matters with Instructor Mike, could you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notifications for all notifications over there? I appreciate you all. I hope it's not true, but if it is true, I don't even want to say rest in peace, Kevin. I'd rather say live long and prosper. Yeah, I'd rather say long live Kevin. I don't want to say rest in peace. I don't want to say rest in peace. I want to say long live Kevin because he had the guts to do what so many hurt boys who are men now wish they could have done. I love the fact that I'm an abused child advocate, that I advocate for abused child. I love the fact that I say whatever I need to say to piss off a person on behalf of an abused child. I love it. I love it. Because there are some parents that need to hear the suffering of their children. There are some parents that need to hear that. Long live Kevin. Long live Kevin. Yeah. Yeah. Those of you all who really like him, go back and watch his episodes. That's how you that's how you value the man. Uh that's how you value him. Cause it's like this, Charlie. You ever read a book? I said I was gonna get off, but fuck it, whatever. It's my platform. Um, you ever read a book or even watched The Wire? I don't know if you like one of my things is I watch The Wire. And just when you think you've caught everything in that episode, you know how you go back and then, damn, I didn't even see that like that. Yeah, go back and do that shit. Cause it'll be something that you might have missed. Yeah. It'll be like something you might have missed. Go back and watch it. Yeah. All right, yo. I'm gonna get out of here. You said them Easter eggs. What the fuck? What are we talking about? What are you talking? What are you talking about, JFB? What are you talking about, man? Otherwise, how you guys doing? I don't want to leave without interacting with y'all. I know I said I was gonna go. I don't want to leave without interacting with y'all because I feel like I was just talking and I didn't interact with you all. What questions do you have? What's on your mind? Talk to me. I said I was gonna let y'all go. I ain't let y'all go. Y'all talk to me. What's up, man? Jordan Johnson. I'm sorry, I didn't even see you come across, man. Yeah, when you miss it in the movie. Yeah, when you miss it in the movies. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so most of y'all watching it with the instructor Mike page. Okay, I got one person viewing from the Family Matters channel. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Cross-eye dominance. What do you mean? Oh, like when I'm right-handed and I'm left-eye dominant? What are we talking about? I can cross-eye dominant depending upon what I'm doing. Oh, yes. It's true. Times were for the community and strangers, also a symbol of trusting God. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Man. All right, y'all. What time is it? 9:36. And normally Kevin would be live right now. That's how I know, man. Sums up, bro. Kevin would normally be live right now. Yeah. Kevin would be live right now. Either right now or right around 10 o'clock. And it's gonna be some people that's gonna drag him. But what people don't understand is you can never drag Kevin to us. I do, Susan. I do Facebook Lives. But the problem is with Facebook, I think they've shadow banned me or something like that. So, you see what I'm saying? But I will go back in June. Trigger with Instructor Mike will be back on. Oh, yeah. He was always fly. I loved his sense of taste. Yeah, just, yeah, yeah. He was amazing. Yeah, man. He was amazing. He was amazing. He was amazing. Yeah. Yep. He was amazing. And his content will live on. His content and his impact will live on. It will live on. So I don't even care about what people gotta say or just no, you can search his name. You can go on YouTube. Go on YouTube and look up Kevin Samuels and just watch his content. And you might some stuff may piss you off. Some stuff may. It happens, right? But man, just dude, his content's the shit. Long live Kevin. Long live Kevin. I just appreciate him being used as a vessel. You just never know. I Yeah, he was speaking some truths. Man, he was. Yes, he was. All right, I'm out. You all have a good night.